Hello class, this is Mr. Paulson. Before we begin this presentation, let me just draw your attention to our homework section. Tonight you do not have any formal homework, though you can continue to work on the project we began yesterday. I hope yesterday gave you an opportunity to meet with your groups and begin working on our project. In today's lesson, our objective is how do scientists name organisms? On our agenda, we're going to take a look at what is binomial nomenclature, and then I want to just spend a minute or two to discuss how your project is going. So, binomial nomenclature. Yesterday we talked about Carl Linnaeus. Linnaeus also developed the idea of binomial nomenclature. Binomial nomenclature is a two-part naming system, and we tend to use the Latin name for a species. The first part of our binomial nomenclature naming system uses the organism's genus. When we write a genus, we always write the first letter of the genus capitalized. Okay, so please underline that in your notes. The second part of the name indicates the organism's species. This is all written in lowercase. So again, do yourself a favor and underline that in your notes. If we take a look at an example, we have Felis domesticus, and notice that my last bullet says both words must be italicized or underlined. So I italicized Felis domesticus here, but if you're writing it on paper, you may have to underline it. Luckily for our project, you're doing the majority of work for part 1 on a Google Doc, so what should we do? You guessed it, we'll italicize. Okay, so the question becomes, why do scientists use binomial nomenclature? Why can't we just use the common name such as a mountain lion for an organism? Well, if I'm communicating with scientists in different parts of the globe, and I refer to mountain lion, they might refer to it as a cougar, or a panther, or a puma. So, in order to not have any confusion, if we mentioned the scientific name of the mountain lion, Puma concolor, then we'll all be on the same page. Okay. One last thing, and I'm going to put two words up here. We have Pinus virginiana and Didelphis virginiana. So notice right off the bat, which two names do they have in common? Well, let's look at some key indicators to identify. We have Pinus. It has a capital, so it must be the genus. We have Virginiana, and that's all in lowercase, and it comes after the genus, so that must be the species. So again, we have genus and species name. Here, we have genus and species name. So before we put the pictures up, I want you to think to yourself, are these the same organisms? Okay. Now what do you think? Are these the same organisms? On the left, we have the Virginia pine, and on the right, we have the Virginia opossum. Okay, so we always use the genus and the species name to identify an organism. That's binomial nomenclature, and it's going to be important as you go through your 3 organisms for your kingdoms that you take some time to not only write the common name of your organism, but also the scientific name of your organism. In designing a theme park, we want everyone who attends the theme park to know both of those names when they leave the exhibit. In yesterday's PowerPoint, I didn't get a chance to talk about the rubric. This is in your packet, so when you get a chance, please turn to the page. This should be page 7 in your packet, and this is the rubric for part 1. So it's going to be graded out of 50 points, and you're getting points for your description and overview of your kingdom and for the 3 organisms. All right. All of this includes the accuracy and the detail of information. So I'm looking for you to really take time, read, digest, and then relay the information about your kingdoms and about your 3 organisms. Also, with that said, please turn to page 10, 11, and 12 in your packet. We've gone over some information over the last 2 days, and you now have enough information to complete pages 10 and 11 in your packet that practices taxonomy. So whenever you get a chance, please take a look at this as well. Remember, today you should be continuing to research, meet with your group, all right, work in the Google Doc, and all of your work for part 1 has to be submitted by the end of the period tomorrow. It can be submitted earlier, and if it gets submitted earlier, you could start part 2 that much sooner.